XFL Week 9 TV ratings are in from ABC and ESPN and ESPN2, and they face some competition this week from the USFL. So ratings are in. The XFL came back their regular season slate. They, after a week after scoring an average of 760,000 viewers with 3 cable telecasts and a broadcast network on ABC. We break down the highlights here. So the question coming into the weekend was, how would the XFL fare in the spring football showdown after week 8 delivered some strong television ratings of the XFL season, and its peak, more than 2 million people watched the Roughnecks and Brahmas on ABC. Meanwhile, the Vipers Battlehawks game on ESPN topped at 1.18 million. So week 9 is in Saturday. The XFL kicked off the weekend unopposed with a 12:30 p.m. Eastern ABC game between the Houston Roughnecks and Vipers that averaged 878,000. Saturday night's ESPN2 game at 7 p.m. between the Orlando Guardians and San Antonio Brahmas averaged 235,000 viewers. The telecast was rated 44th out of the top 150 cable TV shows. The XFL broadcasts on ESPN2 have consistently been the cable network's second highest rated weekly program since February. The Orlando-San Antonio telecast went head-to-head with 2 USFL games on Fox. The tail end of the game of the USFL's opening afternoon game at 7:30 p.m. Eastern and the start of their primetime showcase game on Fox with the Birmingham Stallions versus Generals. The overlapping league games aired directly against each other from 7 to 10. The returning USFL averaged 837,000 viewers in their afternoon game, 864,000 viewers in their primetime slot. On Sunday, the XFL was back at noon on ESPN. Before a sold-out crowd, the DC Defenders defeated the Arlington Renegades in an overtime shootout, where yours truly was there. The game averaged 670,000 viewers on ESPN. Telecast rated 10th out of 150 cable TV on there. The USFL, which aired the third over-the-air broadcast game of its opening weekend on Sunday at the same time as the XFL did on ESPN, averaged 974,000 for their NBC telecast of the Michigan Panthers Houston Gamblers. So the two leagues, XFL and USFL, combined average 1.64 million viewers during the Sunday head-to-head noon time slot. That's a lot of people watching football, which is good. You need to remember that. Don't get involved with the trolls. This is good for spring football. There is no competition. We want both leagues to succeed. Maybe they'll. The final game of the XFL weekend between the Battlehawks and Dragons, Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, averaged 570,000 viewers. Telecast was rated 17th out of the top 150 cable TV shows. So the analysis from our man Mike Mitchell. The XFL has had a lot of hurdles and obstacles to overcome since relaunching in February. They have had to live up to their predecessor while operating without the same media coverage or television they had 3 years ago with a unique cable-centric streaming package this go around. Remember, they were on Fox. As well as encountered the second iteration, never faced the changing viewership landscape with direct competition against the March Madness and other tentpole mainstream sporting events. Golf in particular did well also. However, this past weekend proved a unique challenge for the XFL. Fighting for attention from mainstream and casual sports fans is one thing, but what happens when you compete for fans with another entity that is a very similar product? That is the problem. Do the two leagues have separate audiences? Perhaps that's the case in red-hot markets like XFL, like in St. Louis and D.C., or would the niche audience be splintered with two similar leagues airing simultaneously? Well, we sort of got those answers this past weekend with the viewership numbers, but the real telltale sign will arrive in the future. The 3 over-air network games gave the USFL a clear edge head-to-head with the XFL, who aired 3 cable telecasts. The USFL scored 3.162 million viewers for their 4 broadcasts, Fox twice, NBC and FS1 in Week 1. The XFL, 2.35 million for their 4 games on ABC, ESPN twice, and ESPN2. The XFL's quality of play has peaked in recent weeks. The football product has been stellar. The league's uptick in attendance has shown that. The XFL surpassed their season high in weekly attendance in Week 9 with over 75,000 fans attending their game, which is good. But when it comes to competing with the USFL's opening weekend with 3 over-the-air network games versus 1 on ABC this past weekend, for the XFL, it's not exactly fair comparison for either side. This past weekend was a brief snapshot, and quite frankly, comparison and earning media coverage are a significant factor in why the USFL has an advantage over the XFL. A Fox primetime game versus an ESPN2 telecast should produce better viewership numbers compared to the two is false equivalency. The fact that the fans are interested in both leagues is a plus, and it's great for pro football, and whether these can grow over the interest of time remains to be seen. So in the long run, we'll have to see how these things play out, but the XFL value and potential will be how the league performs in its season finale championship game Saturday, May 13th in prime time on ABC. Then they will get to go to where the USFL has arrived, looking to build off year one into year two, trying to rope in more casual viewers, et cetera, et cetera. That is going to be the real test. And then also what the USFL is going to be able to bring by themselves and what their audience looks like there. The week Week 10 schedule is crazy. Every game means something. You've heard all about the different playoff scenarios. You're going to have to keep an eye on that. But we've got the Guardians, Battlehawks at noon on Saturday on ESPN. Defenders, Brahmas on ABC at 3 p.m. on Saturday. There's 2 games on Saturday, 2 games Sunday. Roughnecks, Renegades, Sunday at 3 p.m. on ESPN. And then Vipers, Sea Dragons, which was moved to 7 p.m. That's going to be on ESPN too. And that could be all the marbles for the Sea Dragons to try to make the playoffs. So that could be a huge game we will see as well. So we've got one more week to go to do all this analysis of superstar Mike Mitchell, giving you all the lowdown on all the TV ratings. In the end, I think both leagues are satisfied and happy with the ratings that they've got. But we will see. This is going to be a crazy Week 10 in the XFL season. I'll be really curious to see how the numbers go from here on out. The final week of the season, and then playoff weekend, and then the championship game.